Okay, we got that one going. Now we have to get our, where is it at? Do, 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 do.
Did you send the link to Pandora?
I did. Mm-hmm. Do, 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 do. Where is it at? There it is. Boom.
My show was
Well,
on.
good evening, good evening, good evening. We got our cameras all over the place. We're seeing pillows and we're seeing side of cushions, and we there we go. Now we seeing people. Now we seeing people. Good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Only One Truth. Welcome to another episode of Only One Truth. Got a great broadcast we're going to have for you tonight. And I want to let you know, want to let each and every one of you know that the phone lines will be open. The phone lines will be open. You could give us a call, 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. Before we go another step further, I'm not important, but these two young ladies that's with me right now and everybody else that's going to be on here is very important. So it's very important. It's imperative, one of them good words, it's imperative that I go and let them introduce themselves. Sharon, introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are.
Hi, this is Sharon Gaylord. I'm calling from Columbia, South Carolina.
So Columbia, South Kakalaki. And we have,
Woo-hoo.
there you go. And we have Queen Tiva. Queen Tiva, tell everybody who you are and where you're hailing from.
I'm from Lancaster, California. Queen Tiva, that's what everybody call me. I'm not
Good.
kidding.
She look here. Lord, she acting up already. Lord, look here. Lord.
That was nervousness.
It's okay. You know, I don't know why you're nervous. You've been on this thing for how long? How long we been doing this thing together?
I still be nervous. Yeah, I still be nervous.
Okay. Well, we got a good topic we're gonna talk about today, and and this topic here, it wasn't from me, it was from somebody else. I'm not gonna call no name, but they said we need to talk about financial literacy, dealing with our children is what we need to talk about, and so that's gonna be our topic today. So let me ask this question, Sharon, coming to you first. Why is it important that our children understand financial literacy?
I think it's important because most kids don't understand, when it comes to money. They've been up under their mom and their dad's umbrella for so long that they don't
Hmm.
know the importance of building a strong foundation for themselves later. And I think it's up to the parents in order to take and teach them how to build that and tell them, guide them along the way the right way. Until we show them, they'll fall on the wayside when it comes to that. So I think that we need to be more vigilant when it comes to teaching our kids about money, the value of money, the value of credit, the
Hmm.
values in life. You know.
Exactly. That's good. There's so many different things that you put out there just now that I want to touch on in the course of this broadcast. But right now, I want to go to Queen Tiva. Queen Tiva, what do you say? Why is it important that our children know and understand financial literacy?
Well, I think it's very important. So much so that I just have to come bring it back to where how I was taught about money. I wasn't. You feel me? I wasn't. That didn't come up in my household. Just about go to work, make sure there's food on the table, clothes on the kids' back. We moving, we're surviving. I never was taught about financial literacy, so I really don't have an answer there except from what I learned now in my adulthood. You know what I'm saying? I just recently got my credit together about a year and a half ago. I brought myself from a low 400 to a high 728.
Hmm.
Because I just didn't know that when you don't pay your bills, yeah, you may not pay them, but it's going to show up somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And you're not going to be able to get a house and get like that. So, really being wise with money and how you handle your bills and everything, it really does speak to your character. So I can only speak from where I am now, and I try to teach my adult children that now. I help them get their credit together, got them in a program and everything to help them get on the right track. So I can only speak from where I am now to my
Hmm.
adult children because once again, that money was not taught in our home. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Getting stocks and bonds and, stuff like that. I learned that as I became an adult and I found out I can't get nothing. I can't even buy a pencil on credit till I get my stuff together. So I was able to pull my credit score up, and now teach other people how to do that and how to get their stuff in a good credit area so they can start making some moves for themselves. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
And the thing about it, and Rico, good evening, sir. How you doing this evening?
Yeah, good evening. How everybody doing?
Hey, doing good, man. We're talking about financial literacy with our children, and that's a conversation. As Steve was just saying, that's something that really don't come up in a lot of the community, in a lot of the homes, with the children. They don't. A lot of parents just do not talk to their children about financial literacy. Why do you think that is?
Uh, we got a whole lot of other obstacles and distractions that our younger generation deals with. Not to distract from the subject, but when you have to look at George Floyd videos and stuff like that, your mindset might go in a different direction, or
Mm-hmm.
you could be distracted by the media. But the thing is that in most cases, you really have to have somebody lead by example. If you have somebody that you can see that's utilizing the credit system and how such of an advantage it is to them, then it will have more of an effect on them. Right? It's nothing better than visual facts or visual proof. So having somebody right there that can lead you in that direction, and you can see, okay, this is the reason why they have these nice things. They might not just have all this cash on hand, but they do have the access to be able to get these things. How did you
Mm-hmm.
get that? And then once you do learn it, I mean, you might end up being like me if you didn't have enough guidance. You might start off real good and get that credit up there and then go and abuse it.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, because you really didn't understand just how important it is. It may become easy to you, but you just didn't respect the value of having good credit. But you fell off the wagon or whatever. Maybe you started using it and going and just getting all kind of things that you really didn't need. Abusing that credit card. You know how you can use a credit card and you actually use it to your advantage. I was always taught to use a credit card for emergency purposes. But I
Mm-hmm.
know most people that just use it to get whatever they want to get when they can if they ain't got cash on hand.
Mm-hmm.
Before you know it, they got a bill that they're paying constantly, but they're never getting that balance paid off.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, because a lot of times they want to pay the bare minimum. They say you can pay $25 a month. They want to pay that $25 a month, not knowing that that's not doing
Yeah.
anything towards that bill because now you got it's so many different elements tied into this thing. Sharon, now if we talking about financial literacy and the kids in the household, and we are struggling, having a hard time paying the bills, is that a conversation that we want to have with the kids, or is that something that we should sit them at the table and explain to them why we're having a hard time and what is it that they need to do that whereas they don't fall into that situation or the category?
I think to some degree, yeah, depending on how the children are, they need
Mm-hmm.
to know that, hey, everything that they want, they can't get.
Mm-hmm.
Mama can't give you this because mama has to pay the bills. It would be nice to be able to give you, I won't be able to give you all your wants, but I'm going to make sure you got all your needs. But
Mm-hmm.
when I can do it, then I will do it. But if I can't, they just have to understand that I'm not in a position where I
Mm-hmm.
can't do that. So I think all children, I know my boys, they knew it, but it was funny later on in life that when they told me, said, "Mom, we always thought we was rich," because I
Mm-hmm.
was a single mom with my kids, so they never knew what I did in order to take and make sure that they had what they had. Them two jobs. You do what you got to do for your kids, but a lot of
Mm-hmm.
kids don't understand that. And there are some kids that don't want to understand it, because the parents have made it seem like, hey, I'm 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 Eisenhower or whatever. I got so much going on when
Mm-hmm.
actually they don't. And then when they fall, then the kids crumble too. So I think it's
Mm-hmm.
important that children know, the importance of money and the importance of, you can't have everything that you want when you want to be able to get it. And some parents, we do the little side thing, whereas you might get a card or something, and what I was told a long time ago was, you might make them authorized user. No, they may not get the card, but they're
Mm-hmm.
authorizing in a sense, you're building their credit while you're building your credit. And the
Mm-hmm.
kids, they're able to take it and build it on them. When they get to be a certain age, they're already set in some substance, at some times. But yeah, most definitely, I do think that the children should always, the children should be aware of it, especially when they're old enough to understand it.
Absolutely. T, what do you say to that? And better yet, game where you could teach them things to games, even Monopoly, a game like Monopoly, where you could teach them how to use money and how, what this do. Okay, get this, get this, and get this, and this goes toward this, and you could use. Could you teach them in those regards?
Nah, my kids I gotta be real with my kids, like, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, maybe they went when they were younger, possibly, but nah, I try to talk to them, in real life terms, about saving your money. When you get your paycheck, make sure you pay your bills first. You know what I'm saying? So you don't be homeless. So you don't be sitting there in the dark. So you won't be sitting there with food spoiling. You know what I'm saying? Don't be trying to go out and party, hang out. Take care of home first. Put some money in the savings. You know what I'm saying? So I try to teach them along those lines, and then pay your bills on time, because that's going to determine your credit score, who you are as a person. People judge you based on your credit score. If you come in there trying to get a loan somewhere and your credit score is at a low 500, they're judging you already, that you're untrustworthy, you're not dependable. You run from your bills, you run from, responsibilities. So I try to teach them to, face your responsibility and deal with them and handle them, because it will affect you in the long run.
Absolutely. And Rico, I've heard people say this a lot of times, and this is a conversation that a lot of people have. They say, well, what I'm going to do when I get paid, I'm going to pay me first. I'm going to pay me first. And now I just heard T was saying that pay your bills first and take care of your responsibilities first. Which one is a better way? Which is a better apple to give them children? Feed you first or take care of your responsibilities first?
Taking care of your responsibilities is paying you first. I mean, that's the difference in going to get that 70-inch screen TV at Black Friday from Sam's or going to Rent-A-Center. That's the difference. The thing is I think most people need to understand, especially what you're talking about with the youth, is that you want to get your most value for your dollar. And when you start talking about financial literacy, that's it sounds all good, complicated like that. You know what I'm saying? Financial literacy, I hear people say that all the time. Financial literacy, man, some people ain't trying to hear that, but then when you tell them, look, get more value for your dollar, then that rings bells a little bit. See, sometimes we need to simplify stuff, but I hear that term get thrown around, and all of a sudden now that's the go-to words. Just get more value for your dollar. That means learn interest equals principal time rate times time. Understand that when you go borrow money from a finance company, that does not apply to your credit. Understand when you go to a finance company, you may be paying a 23% interest rate. Therefore, you're going to be paying maybe twice as much for a product compared to going to your credit union or your bank and getting a 8% interest rate. Therefore, you're not paying as much. Or maybe it's even understanding that you go, okay, now you want to build your credit. Maybe instead of just paying the note at the rate that they said pay that note plus half every month. The sooner you pay it off, it still will apply to your credit. Then you could get more things. Your credit rate, so that's the difference. You know what I'm saying? You can either go get things at the snap. Like you can have that black card, just don't abuse it, and have access to get the things you want, and still at the same time be in a position of, well, you don't have to depend on a rental center, like I said, a Best Buy to go and rent furniture. You don't have to go and get a loan from a finance company to buy a four-wheeler, when you can just get a loan from your bank at the smallest interest rate. And by the time you finish paying for that four-wheeler or whatever that property is, you haven't paid as much as the next person that didn't take care of their credit, wasn't responsible with it.
And Sharon, I've seen a lot of people, and that's good, but I've seen a lot of people too that want to go to them little rental companies, and they feel like they're getting dope. I could go there, I could get this TV, I could just pay $75 a week for that TV. 75, man, I'm just paying $75 a week, but and they think that's good because they get paid. We get paid every week, so I just give them $75 and I pay this TV off and blah blah blah, and they never do the math and never see how much they're actually paying per month for that TV and the longevity of those payments and how much they're actually paying at the end of it, the totality of it. Why do people not see that? Oh, hold on for a minute. I think there you go. You was muted there. There you go.
Yeah. A lot of people don't, right? Because a lot of people don't look into it to see. A lot of people think they're paying that small amount, at a rental center. I was listening to Rico, and a lot of people don't even think to go to the bank. A bank is a
Mm,
really good source when you're trying to take and do stuff, but most people don't think about the bank because you got all these ads out here that saying, come, I can give you a loan here, or I can give you this, give you that, no credit check, this, that, and other. So that's what they look into. But I know somebody had rent a center a long time ago, and I
mhm,
didn't think that she was ever gonna finish paying for the thing. And finally, she got wise and she went ahead and she took it back. But back in the day, rent a center, that was the thing, in
yeah.
order to take and get your furniture and stuff, especially when you were single and you were struggling,
Mm,
they made it look so good, but people didn't look at the value of how much it truly was going to cost. They just looked at the fact that the ad was there. They can go get a house full of furniture, and they're set. Their kids are set. And I mean, I'm not gonna say we weren't smart enough not to know, but we didn't know. We took. We did what we felt like we needed to do.
mhm. And Tiva, do you think in situations like that, companies like a rental center, and I hate to keep calling the name, but there's just one of them that's out there, do they really take advantage of our community
Absolutely.
because of the fact that they know that, okay, we could give them this TV. It says $25 a week, $100 a month you're paying for a TV that really only costs, the TV probably only costs $300, but you're paying 8 months. Are they really
Yes, I
taking advantage?
think they're taking advantage of the community. They're preying upon the poor, the disenfranchised, the
Mm-hmm,
minimal workers. Yes, of course, because the average person in the Black community, the Latino community, in the poor urban areas, they can't just go out most of the time and just pay for something cash. So paying a little bit
mm-hmm,
here, a little bit there. Yeah, it's a trap because eventually when you can't pay it, then you're gonna see that rent center truck come up to the front and start loading everything. They don't care if you got a party going on. They're gonna take that furniture. You feel me? You
mm-hmm,
might get it back.
mm-hmm,
So yeah, I think it is just like with the places where you're going, get like get money or whatever, payday loans. Those are big entrapments in the
mm-hmm,
community because it's like a never-ending cycle. You keep paying until you get paid. You pay them, then you borrow it back. Why? Because you
mm-hmm,
are struggling. You're struggling, so you're in
mm-hmm.
that. It's
You
a
know,
whole trap. Yeah, so it's best just to, pay yourself if you can or save something on the side and build you a nest egg. I don't care if it's $25 a payday,
Mm-hmm.
$50, do something, and then you leave it there so that, if something does happen or something should come up, you'll have that money there versus spending all your money. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, stay away from them places.
Absolutely.
Steer full away because it's a trap. Trust me.
Exactly. Exactly. Predatory lending, Rico. Talk
Yeah.
about
Yeah, that goes back to those finance companies.
that.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
they know how to prey on those that are impulsive, and they got to have it right then and now. Like
mhm.
when the new PS5 comes out, and you feel like you need to go sit in line for it. Well, some of those people probably went to a finance company and got some of that money to sit in line and get that game system. Or
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, there's really the big difference in just being cost conscientious. Um, some people don't like to shop. They don't shop wisely. They don't
Mm-hmm.
check prices, and so you have people that just want to get the quickest thing and the first thing that they could see, what I'm saying, or whatever gets them to that fast. And so now that's
Mm-hmm.
where the predatory lender comes in there. So much, I call it legal loan sharking.
Yeah.
You know, they
Yeah.
they um they get it to where you can come up there and get the money, and you just have to pay us back when you get paid. But before you know it, like you say, you'll never have them paid back. Every
Mm-hmm.
the check you get, they'll be getting that. Before you
Yeah.
know it, you got title loan companies,
Mm-hmm.
people that's losing cars for a small amount of change because they are not wise spenders.
Mm-hmm.
So on. It's about, even when you do build that credit, knowing that you're building it to get your necessities and not your wants.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to get caught up in the junk with the Joneses and just get impulsive and want to, um, indulge in the things that surround you first moment you see it, but then do you really need that? Is it a necessity? You know, and when you think about the necessities of life, then, you know, you start thinking about spending a lot more wisely, taking out loans a lot wiser. The credit system, it can bite you. You know, it's a debt system all the way around.
Yes, sir.
But if you use it wisely, you can use it to your advantage. I call it playing in the system. You can use it to your advantage and live a great life. But if you're not careful, you will be in debt the rest of your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sean, how important is it that we're talking about teaching our children financial literacy? How important is it that we sit them at the table and maybe have X amount of money and have the bills there and say, this is what it is. No, this is what we got to pay. This is what we have to go out right here. This is the amount of money that we have, and make up some paper money. Make up some paper money or write it on a piece of paper and say, these are our bills. This is what we got to pay out. How should we handle that? And let them visualize, let them talk you through what it is. And then you come as a parent and say, well, look, that will work, but this is a better way. How important is it that we do that, Sharon?
I think it's very important that the kids know the financial parts when it comes to, you know, to what the parents are dealing with. A lot of kids don't know that. I mean, my boys, I had an envelope system. You know, that's what, you know, someone told me years ago, do the envelope system. You got this bill, got that bill, you got that. And then you got an envelope for yourself too, because you need to make sure that you give yourself something too. So it's important that they know, you know, where the struggles are.
That's good. That's good. And Tiva, I know you do a lot with finances as well. So explain to me what is one of the best processes. Is that one of the best processes just to sit them down and talk to them? Or is there another exercise that we should use to educate them?
I think that's a good exercise because most kids don't know how to pay bills. They don't know how to take the gas bill, the light bill, phone bill, you know, stuff like that, rent or mortgage. They don't know how to do those types of things. So just giving them that opportunity to be responsible for something, I think that's good to teach them the value of money, because truly, when they get into adulthood, even graduating from high school, life is going to hit them in the face for real. Right now, you're up under mom and dad. Mom and dad take care of everything. You don't have to worry about food, shelter, none of that. You just come home from your school day, kick off your shoes. Mama have to tell you to clean up the room, and you go in there and eat whatever you want, use the toilet, shower. You don't have to worry about the water bill because it's already taken care of. So I think if they knew the value of that, that would really teach them to be more responsible as they're coming up into their adulthood, because that's not really taught in school. It's not taught in the homes most of the time, because I wasn't taught that mess. I learned it as I became an adult myself, and I had to step out into my own life and raise my own family. Then I started realizing, okay, well, I wasn't really prepared financially, you know what I'm saying, for this. So yeah, I think anywhere you can start with the kids is excellent.
Exactly. Sharon, I do things a little unorthodox sometimes. And I think about things a little, I guess, outside of the box. I might be a little cray-cray. But if the kids come and Rico was saying about the new PlayStation 5, I think it is, that's coming out. See, I don't play a lot of games like that. I don't know which one it is. But if it came out and one of your sons say, listen, I've got to have that PlayStation. I gotta have that. And they may make a big fit about that PlayStation. And you say, okay, let's go get it. Now they happy. You're the best mom in the world. Let's go get it. You make a phone call to somebody, say, look here, when we leave out, I want you to come over here and turn the circuit box off. Turn the circuit box off. And they not understanding what you said, but they go ahead and do it. You go get the PlayStation, you bring it back. It's in a brand new box. You say, okay. And you go in the house, you turn hit the light switch, and nothing happens. Mama, oh man, I think they turned the lights off. And you know why they turned the lights off? Because we paid the money for the light bill for that game you want right there. And you use that to teach them something. And now you have to say, now we got to make a decision what you want to do. You want to have your lights, or you want to have the game right there, because you can keep the game, but you can't play it because we ain't got electricity. Exactly. Is that a good lesson to teach them? Because now they would now that would hit them where they would understand it more than you just telling them.
Yep. Sometimes they need to see it.
Okay. Rico, what do you say to that?
Yeah, it teaches them on priorities. You know, it's a way of letting them know what comes first. You know, I remember when I was younger, I was actually taught to balance checkbooks when I was, when it was realized I was good in math. It was no problem for my mom and my stepfather to sit me down and show me how they would balance the checkbook. The only thing was that sometimes I start paying attention to a little bit too much stuff. I'm like, oh, this what you got in the bank over here? Wait a minute, son, this ain't what you're supposed to be looking at. But I'm looking at, if you got that over there, you can buy me a motorcycle. So it was, but it was still important for them to do that. You know what I'm saying, and to make me understand why math was important. At first, at one point in time, math was just fun and it was about numbers. But when I started learning about balancing checkbooks and having to pay bills and utilities and house notes and interest rates, as time started going on and more I started understanding the importance of numbers. Then it made me understand my priorities a lot more. It started making me understand when I was young and I was asking those questions. Well, can you get me this? Can you get me that? And they say money don't grow on trees. Those things you asking for a cost.
Exactly.
And, like sometimes we had some of the final things, but I still had to appreciate that they just couldn't give me the world like I thought they could. It was a balance to that. It was a budget to that, and it was a such thing called we still got other priorities that we're taking care of. That allows us to make sure we could do these luxuries that you're enjoying. So it was important. It taught me priorities more than anything, responsibility.
Exactly. Tiba, what do you say? Is that a cruel lesson or is that a good lesson for them to understand?
I think any way that you can get through kids, whatever is going to work for them to teach them. Hey, sometimes you got to have a dose of reality. You know what I'm saying? Because like when my kids was coming up, they would always say, "Oh, can we go to McDonald's or can we go over here? Man, no, we got food at the house. I can make you something to eat at home." Or if they want something, like I don't have the money yet, I got to pay these bills. I would just say stuff like that and keep going. But one thing I can say, now that they're older, they came back and said, "Mom, now I know what you mean when you say you ain't got no money."
Reality. Exactly.
Yeah, I was like, look, life is gonna get you. So look, so now when they get their money, they be like, "Hey, you got some money? I need some help." And they like, "Ain't got no money." Oh, now you understand. You know what I'm saying? So I say, whatever way you can teach these kids, get it to them. Get it to them, especially if they're the real spoiled type. You know what I'm saying? Give them a dose of reality, but in love. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I can say, I'm a grandmother now, and I told my son, I said, I'm going to take her and I'm going to shoot her as high as I can. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do with her that I didn't get a chance to do with you guys. And I said, she's going to definitely go some places. I know I'm wiser now. I understand about money now, because I'm going to bring, man, I didn't know everything when I was younger because I didn't know. And nobody taught me that. You feel me? Even in a black household, a lot of times they don't even leave behind life insurance for their family. Because they don't have the money to put aside for that because they're busy living and going. But somebody needs to tell them one day that's going to happen. And be prepared for that, because once again, your family's going to be struggling even more. So I think it's a whole financial literacy that needs to come to the Black community in a powerful way. Because I see so many GoFundMes or people out there raising money to bury their loved ones. Why? Because they were not prepared, or they're going out of retirement and then have to go back into retirement because you blew through your money. It's not a vacation because you get all this money for retirement. You still have to live. So I think that there needs to be, I'm telling you, I've seen it so many times. I had a friend who had like $500,000 almost, about $500,000 in retirement. Do you hear me? Came out at an early age, but guess what? Back in. Why? Because you didn't prepare. See, so many people, educated people, doing the same thing over and over. They're not living with their kids now. They're living vicariously through their kids. Why? Because they can afford to be in their own home. So now you're renting a room. Now you're watching the kids. Now you look. I'm not doing that. So I think that needs to be something that's taught to the Black community, to prepare for retirement, because you're going to get old one day. You're not going to be able to work. You feel me? Save. have a
Yeah.
nest egg. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Those types of things are very, very important. And I think if we start teaching the young people that now, they'll be better prepared as adults as to what I was, because I wasn't taught that. The only thing I was told about financials, you better pay your bills because you're gonna be able to buy a pencil on credit. Well, why am I not gonna be able to buy a pencil on credit? I didn't know. Because when you get out of high school, they throw them credit cards at you. I had every credit card imaginable. I had my first card at 21. Went in a drive parking lot and bought it brand new. But I didn't know if I don't pay my bills on time, I'm jacking myself up. You feel me?
Exactly.
And then life, you get married, your kids. Oh my God, you a mess now. You
It's
feel me? So I
it could be a vicious circle. It
go
could be a
on with that one. I'm sorry. That's my soapbox.
it could be a very vicious. It could be a very
You feel me? I lived it. I lived it with being married early, and we both didn't have no education. He working minimum wage jobs. I'm working a minimum wage job. Now we got kids, and we struggling. Our credit is warped. We can't get nothing. He can't get it. I can't. You know what I'm saying? So it took me realizing, okay, you got to go back to school now. And I went back and got my nursing license. You know what I'm saying? And then I started learning about money and stuff. I started trying to educate myself so I can be in a better position in the age that I am now, because sometimes you don't start off young. You might get it in your middle age. You might get it later in life, as long as you get it. But once you get a certain age, you got to move fast because retirement is coming.
Exactly. Hold on, preacher. Hold on, preacher. Because Lord knows you're on the road. Hold on, preacher. Let me call.
I'm sorry, y'all. This is my soapbox. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. I think you helped some people in what you just said. I think you helped a whole lot of people. So now you no need to apologize. Sharon, what's on your heart?
I mean, I'm sitting here to Queen T because she's living a lot of people's lives, So the advice that she just gave was excellent. A lot of us didn't start until later on in life. We didn't know to take and start early. We had those struggles out there, and so we did what we had to do. Fake it till you make it, so you can get what you got to get. So I just think that people need to understand the importance of trying to build some type of nest egg, so that when you get to that sign, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, anything can happen, and you got to be prepared some kind of way, somewhere, with something. And we don't, a lot of times Black people, not only Black people, white people, the Haitians, they don't think, prepare for the future. They live in the here and the now. And everybody needs to get past that, because one day you're going to need what you don't put back. And if you don't have anything, then you have no fallback. Then you're going to be in a bad way. And that's what I teach my kids, to try to get them a fallback, so that when that day comes and they need to, you lose your job, you might be phased out, you don't know. You got something to hold you until you can get better or get something else. It may not be what you want, but at least you have something.
That's good. That's good. Enrico, how important is it that our people understand that a lottery is not a retirement plan?
Thank you, really.
Oh, I think hopefully they know a lottery isn't even a guarantee. I mean, you have something that's pretty much a guarantee if you make the effort, but you can make all the effort in the world with a lottery and still not see one dime from it. I mean, that's just a luck of the draw. What's funny though is that I'm thinking about in the past who I had as an example, or who even had the time to try to talk to me about stuff like this, or even teach me. It was my stepfather. The person that abused me is actually the one that took the time out to show me what it took to be a man, or to pay attention to the important things, important issues like education and having credit or whatever. And I can remember one time he had me cutting trees. He used to work for the power company, and when he started, he was cutting trees, and then he started doing it on his own. And I'd go with him, man, and I'd climb up in them trees, man, and work, man, and he'd pay me good. And I still, like I said, I still had this thing that I just wanted what I wanted. I wanted what I wanted. And he was like, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pay you some real good money. You go out here and work today. And I went out there and worked, got back home, man. I didn't realize he was buttering me up. And he asked me, he said, well, you made a good little bit of money today, son. You want to pay for dinner? He's like, well, no, what you want to eat? And I pulled what Tiva children would do. I wanted to go out and eat. I didn't want to eat what my mama was cooking. I wanted to go out and eat. He said, yeah, you know what? That sounds good. Some pizza. You know what I'm saying? You think you could probably buy some pizza with that money you got. Wait a minute. I want to keep my money. So, you know what I'm saying? Then he started buttering me up again. Well, don't you appreciate your money? Your mama, don't you appreciate what we do for you and this and that? You know what I'm saying? So he talked me into going out and feeding everybody. It was on me tonight. Since I didn't want what mama had to cook. I had the good idea. It was my big idea to want to go eat pizza. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we went to eat pizza and I had to pay for it.
That pizza just didn't taste the same, did it?
It did not taste the same. I started looking over everybody was eating. You eat a little bit too much. I was hot, man. I did not like that. I mean, it made me feel like a man. It made me feel responsible. And it taught me a lesson that sometimes you have to do what you need to do, what you got to do and not what you want to do. So like I said, there you go again, talking about the value of what's important, what comes first, the priorities. And so, you know, I realized he was teaching me that lesson. And out of everybody in my life, man, he was the only one that taught that to me. And I realized who he learned it from. He learned it from some white people he had been working for since he was 9 years old. And it had not been for them, he wouldn't have been who he was. So we wouldn't have been able to live as comfortable as we live. And a lot of people, they threw that same thing out there at him and my mom. Oh, y'all rich. No, they weren't rich. They just had good credit. They were able to get the finer things that made them, you know, let the lifestyle that they lived was very comfortable. It wasn't overboard, but to those in our normal settings, it was considered rich. And so, you know, it really taught me how important it was to pay attention to credit and how to save and be a wise spender. How to price check, compare prices. You know, you might have to spend a little bit more gas to go to Kmart and go to Walmart to get separate things. At least you're saving some money.
That's good. That's good. Now, Tiva, you got a friend. Now you in the finances, you know finances, and they get one of those little scratch off tickets. They win $10,000. We just can put that number out there, and they say, "Oh, we get it, and we could ball out, and we could ball out, and they want to go and they want to just spend that money. Tiva, how do you tell them? How do you educate them at that moment? Hold on, this money should be used for this or put aside for when that rainy day come along, because you know winning anything on that lottery, you know, you're lucky. You're lucky. People say you want money or whatever, because that's not a retirement plan. That's you giving away more money than you'll ever most of the time bring in. And so if they win $10,000, how do you tell them that this is what they need to do? Save that money.
Man. I would tell them save, and save some more. Especially if you're already struggling, you don't have no money in the bank. Some people ain't got even $100 in the bank right now. If they got flat tire, they don't have money to go get a flat tire. If something happened, they don't have money. So why are you going to go out and spend the money? This is like your jump start. I would try to put it like in a 401, but even that is kind of iffy. But I would definitely try to save it, you know, put it in a money market CD or something like that. But I wouldn't go out trying to spend every dime. You know what I'm saying? Because folks, they don't be hungry. Have you ever noticed when you ain't got no money, you hungry? You can think of a million things you want to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As soon as you get some money, oh, I ain't hungry no more.
I ain't even hungry no more.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
I would tell them to save it. No, because I'm not even like that anymore. I used to be that. Oh, I got some money. Let's go eat over here. I've been wanting to eat. You know, I've been wanting to go here. I used to be that person. Now, no, I gotta have some money put aside in case something come up, because life happens unexpectedly, right? It really does. So I would say just no.
At the drop of a hat too. At the drop of a hat, anything can happen at the drop of a hat, because those rainy days, just like you have sunshine, rainy days are coming as well, and you have to prepare yourself to make sure that you're prepared for those rainy days so you can make it through. A lot of people are not in that situation where they can understand or make it through those rainy days because they did not, like y'all said many times over, they did not prepare.
Yeah, especially if you always borrowing all the time. If you borrowing all the time, you don't have no money. You're not managing your money right. You always gotta say, "Can I borrow 20? You got $20 to I
Now,
get
now,
paid. $25 I get paid. You're
now,
not
now, now,
budgeting your money right. You
now,
know what
now,
I'm
now,
saying?
now, now, TV, you heard me say Sharon, and you just gonna talk all over.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Sharon. I really truly didn't hear. I'm sorry.
No, you good, sis. Sharon, what's on your heart?
It's all good, Tiva. You're right. A lot of people don't save for the rainy days, Raheem. But some people don't have it to save. You have both sides. You got the ones that got it and the ones that don't. But
Mm-hmm.
when you do have something, you should put something. I mean, like my dad said, if you got $10, put $5 or put $2.50 to the side. So you got
Mm-hmm.
something. Save your change. Do whatever you got to do. But a lot of people don't do that, and then they'll go run to the mama, run to the dad, and say, "Hey, can I get this, that, and other?" And when
Mm-hmm.
mom and daddy say no, then they always find a way still. But some people will borrow from you and save their own. So you have to be careful with that too, because it go both ways. They're not always broke when they come to you. They just come to you and spend yours and enjoy life. I have this friend of mine that say, "Hey, can I borrow whatever?" And then she find out she going on a trip somewhere on
Mm-hmm.
your
Wow.
money. So you have to be mindful. You have to be mindful of all that, because everybody say they broke ain't broke, but you
Mm-hmm.
definitely need to take and show your kids and instill in them the importance and the values of being able to have something that they can call their own, something
Mm-hmm.
that they can fall back on, because it's important, because you don't know today, you might have it tomorrow. If you're in the stock market, it can all be gone. So just
Exactly.
save something so you got something.
Mm-hmm. And Rico, I'm gonna come to you, and then we'll go to TV. You better get yours in, because TV gonna take off, boy. She gonna go out. She got someone on mind right now. She ready to say, I know. Hold on, I'm coming to you, sis. But Rico, that's the thing, and you heard me say this a lot on the Morning Glow. A lot of times people buy what they want and beg for what they need.
Mm-hmm.
They'll buy what they want. They go out there and buy what they want all day long, and they'll come out there and try to beg for what they need. And now they come to you, Rico, man. My light bills are due, man. Blase, blase. And you look at their feet, man. They got a brand new pair of Nikes on, man. They got a brand new pair of Nikes on, and they talking about, can you loan me something to pay my light bill? I'm just gonna be honest. I wouldn't do it. What'd you do, Rico?
No, I wouldn't do it either. I mean, I pay attention to wasteful spenders.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pay attention to that. And if I notice that, but then you one of the people that's always coming to ask me, I ain't got it either. Because
Mm-hmm.
one thing about it is I got my own children to take care of. I ain't got time to take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, I hate to be rude like that, but I'm like that sometimes with people that stand in front of the store and ask for change.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, look, man, if I got, $4 or $5 to give you, I got a son, I can go get that too. And it's not that I'm being rude, but you know the ones that really just don't care. They just out there to just see who they could get something out of.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be smart about telling them come where I work at. I'm gonna see if I can get my manager to hire you. Stuff like that, just to let them know, if you really want to make an effort, I'll help you. But I can't help you out my pocket. I'm not gonna do that. But you asked that about the $10,000. If that person that did get that scratch off realized that they got that $10,000, I would try my best to get them to understand that they invested. That was an investment they made into that card. Now they have an opportunity to take that portion and invest it again and make some money. Legally, hopefully. But just at least get them to understand that it takes money to make money. This is an opportunity. It doesn't take it. Maybe it will only take a couple of $1,000s to get you off the ground. Maybe you can invest in a chair and a cape and start braiding hair. If you know how to braid hair, whatever it is, you can invest in yourself and become your own boss just from this little small amount. If you just pay attention to how valuable it truly is and not be impulsive and want to go in and invest in material things and wants.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Oh, y'all, here we go, y'all. Tiva, what's on your heart, sis? Come on, talk to us.
As he was talking about the investment, I think that's a great idea, especially if you're in business. If I was ever to come into a large sum of money, it would definitely go into my business to try to, push that where it needs to be. You know what I'm saying? So I would definitely invest that way. Of course, saving for the future. Yeah, that's where it's at right now. Saving for the future, because one day, especially not just kids, but if you up there in age, like you better have a nest egg, you better have something because that's going to become a more serious time for you when you're not able to work, when you're not able to go and, make some money. You got to have something that you've been working for all your life, that you have saved, that you have your 401k, your 457, you have all these things, your Roth IRA, whatever it is that you've been saving your money in. That's so important. You know what I'm saying? Because once again, I've seen so many people in my age group that, went into retirement and then they had to come back out because they didn't prepare right. Now you're renting a room. Who wants to rent a room in your 50s and 60s? Who want to do that? Who want to do that in your 20s, your 30s? You want to be able to have your own. So I would say to the young people out there, make sure you're getting an education. That's number one, because you're not going to be able to survive in this day and time working a minimum wage job. Now you can, but you're going to be working real hard. You have to have 2 or 3 of those, and you might have to have a boyfriend that you don't even love to help you. You know what I'm saying? You find yourself in, no, I'm being real. You find yourself in situations that, especially if you're a survivor, you know what I'm saying? You're going to survive with John with no teeth. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm with John, girl, but sure, he paying his bills, honey. I can't stand his ass, but excuse me, I can't stand him, but honey, you feel?
Lord, look, what my mute button?
Who wants to do that?
Where is my mute button? Lord Jesus, we're on mute button. Let me find. I know it's around here somewhere, not somewhere, but somewhere. But
sorry about that.
My thing is this right here, though. And she's right. You don't want to be a situation where you living with your kids, living in your kids' house, and y'all have a disagreement. And they go to your room, huh?
They start talking to you crazy.
Yeah, you now you looking at them crooked. What you mean? What? But you got to realize, that you living in their house. So, Sharon, what's on your heart?
I mean, you know what it is. I do think that it's sad that a lot of adults. There are quite a few adults now that are living with their kids because they didn't make a means for themselves. And they'll use, okay, I'm helping him or helping her to raise the baby or whatever, use the grandkids, but it's more because of the fact that you can't help yourself. I mean, you've overextended yourself for so many years trying to help everybody else, and you forgot to help you. So I just think that it's important that we as adults and as parents, that we take in consideration of what our needs are, outside of always thinking about our kids' needs, our husband's needs, our sisters, brothers, whomever. At some point you got to start thinking about yourself and think about what the future is going to be for you. And until you do that, you're going to always be in a rut. So it's important. I think it's important that we plan for our own future.
Absolutely. And we go and there's an other side of it. If you don't plan, there's that side where you could find yourself homeless or being 70 years old and standing at the Walmart's door talking about welcome to Walmart. Because you have nothing, you have no other options.
I remember, I guess maybe 10 years ago, I made me a very, very late, early morning run to McDonald's. Get me a combo, maybe 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And there was an old woman, man, and that old white woman humped over. She was, you know how sometimes when you get older and you get that hump in your back and stuff, man.
Yeah.
She was in there working at that drive-through, man. It had to be like 3:30 in the morning, man. And I swear I felt so bad. Old white woman. And I remember just thinking to myself then, man, I wish I just had enough money to take care of people.
Yeah.
Just, pull her out of that, because I knew then what the situation was. She didn't have no choice but to work. To be there at that time of the morning, I mean, she was there for the opening pretty much, for the breakfast. But the way she was moving around, she had that uniform on. I was like, Lord have mercy, no. Yeah. Then I remember thinking to myself, well, you know what? I gave her a tip, and I remember saying to myself how much it was a blessing it was for her to still be able to move around like that, because so many more other women her age sitting over in a nursing home with family members, men and women, that don't care. They're being taken care of by somebody that's beating them up and bruising them and not turning them and not changing their pads and stuff. You get what I'm saying? So you want to be in a situation of, well, if you do get to the point where your children neglect you, you have enough money where people will go out of their way to give you the best home assistance possible. See, because if you got a good bit of money, you're gonna get the best health care. You're gonna get the best assistance that you can. And these people gonna break their neck to get to you because you might be in a wheelchair, you might be a paraplegic, 70 years old in a wheelchair, they gotta roll you around in the van, but they gonna take care of you. Hand and foot, they might live with you. They're gonna give you the most respect because they know that's a good paying job. So that's another reason why you gotta prepare for a bad day, because you might outlive your children. You might have to depend on somebody that has no relationship to you. I've seen so many black women taking care of old white men that they had no relationship to, and those white people didn't have nobody in their family taking care of them. The nicest vans, paralyzed. These women have to take care of them. So you're getting the best of care, but that's going to cost you. You better save up for that bad day.
Exactly, because it'll come back and reality is real. Reality is really real. Sharon, what's on your heart?
I just think, like I said before, I just think that we all need to take and be more prepared in life. Prepare yourself, prepare your children for what's to come. You can't live every moment for today. You got to look at tomorrow too, even though it's not promised, but you need to be prepared for tomorrow when it comes.
And Tiva, we spoke a little bit about this earlier. We got about 7 minutes before we get out of here. Putting a little bit aside, putting out 10% of whatever you make, 15% of whatever you make, just start a bank account or have it automatically withdrawn from your check. A lot of times they can do that on the job. They can take it out of your check and you never see it, and somebody say that you can't miss what you never seen. And so
I agree. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. You go ahead. The floor is yours, sis. Go ahead. Handle it.
I was just going to say, I agree 100%. Everybody should have more than one bank account. You might have one for where all your bills come through. So, everything that goes in there is for your bills, right? Then you have another one that's for savings. You know what I'm saying? So, and then you have another one just for in case something happens. You should have more than one account. I feel that. You know what I'm saying? And then make sure that you're paying yourself first at the end of the day. That's one thing I learned. I didn't learn it in my earlier years. I wish I would have, but I'm learning it now. You know what I'm saying? A few years ago. So I'm learning how to be more responsible with my money. It feels good knowing that your stuff is paid for. You ain't got to worry about when you come home, they're going to turn on the lights. Who I live like that? You know what I'm saying? Y'all come over and your cable turn off. You know?
Man, I can't even look at the football game, man. They done turn the dog on TV, y'all, man. I know the game come on tonight.
You know what I'm saying? You busy trying to treat everybody, but you don't got no groceries in your house. Like, no. Like, I used to be backwards like that. I used to be so backwards. Always struggling, always borrowing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I got stories galore that can tell. You probably think, was you ever in your right mind? You know what I'm saying? Because I experienced so much stuff financially and just life, period. But it made me wiser. Yes. I can tell you that much. And I can share that with the younger generation. And I do. I really do. If you're going to listen, I'm going to share it with you because I want you to be better than I ever was. Especially with my granddaughter, when I look at her, I want you to be better, go as high as I went, as far as I went. You know what I'm saying? If they're having problems in school, be there. If they're struggling in math, English, reading, make sure they get it. If you got to get a tutor, get them there because that's going to carry them so much further. You know how many people graduate from high school and can't read, can't do simple arithmetic, can't even tell time, let alone trying to count money back. So I just think that just try to push the young people as hard as you can and get behind them. Believe in their dreams, because a lot of times people don't believe in their dreams. If they have dreams, I want to be a rapper. I shouldn't be no rapper. Well, why not? He's learning how to write, how to put together a thesis, an essay, whatever. It's giving them writing skills. So I just say don't shoot down the young folks' dreams, but teach them and give them everything that you can so they can go further in life than you ever did. And that's what my mind frame is right now.
Water them just a little bit more. Just water them. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Is it like sometimes you have to wake them up too? When you realize that sometimes people have it in them, they just don't understand. They just don't have the I'm gonna say the understanding, or maybe they have a different value system. I put it to you that way. When you talk about the drug dealer and how they have to go about learning the process of making it worth their while, they can actually invest in something else. Might not make the profits as fast, but at the same time, you know, depending on what the demand is that you're trying to sell. So I mean, I look at that end of it and see that, you know, it's all about direction and having being able to relate, being able to relate the things that you need to do to survive. You know, that's pretty much all I got on that.
Good deal. Good deal. Sharon, what's on your heart?
I just think, like I said, we just got to get it together. Adults need to get together. Kids need to get together. We need to take and be fair, firm, and consistent when it comes to talking to the kids, so the kids will know that, hey, it's not easy. You know, we try to make it look like it is, but it's not always easy. The struggle is real, but you have to keep fighting. Don't give up when it get hard, because a lot of people they'll give up and they won't fight. You know, you got to always have that fight in you so that you can get what you want, because if you want it, you're going to have to work for it. It's not going to just come to you.
Exactly. Now, we say that, but what do we do in situations? Because sometimes it could be a revolving door, and we got 2 minutes, so I want to get this in real quickly. It could be like a revolving door, and you can't expect a person that was never taught to teach their children if they don't know.
That's true.
So Sharon, what do you do in that situation? Because if the parent don't know and the grandparents didn't teach, if the grandparents didn't teach the children and the children didn't teach their children, then it's rough.
That's what makes the struggle even harder. I mean, when you're adult, sometimes, you know, when you got to be that age and you don't want to be taught, you think you know it, and you will still be going to the left when you should be going to the right. I mean, the only thing you can do is continuously try to encourage them to do better.
Yeah.
To give them the advice that they need to have. Now, whether or not they take it and use it, that's completely up to them. But for you, you can live, you know, knowing that you gave them the best advice. You tried to help them the best way that you can. But sometimes a bird got to fly on his own.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Rico?
Yeah, I second that, man. I mean, you know, like I said, it really gets to a point to where that's when they start understanding how important an education is. It's more than just about reading and writing and arithmetic. You know, it's about thinking smart, utilizing that education. You know, it's that financial literacy. Now, like I said, you go back and start thinking about the way that term is used. That means that you're being smart and wise about how you're spending money, because it's, you know, your survival depends on it. It's the big difference in having that house with the picket fence and the in-ground pool in the backyard, or living in a nursing home or living in an apartment when you're 60 and 70 years old paying rent, that you can actually still be paying a house note on for something you own. So, you know, it's about the confidence and the accomplishments in life that makes the big difference. So, you know, the education is important. You know, it's very important. Get your education and understand that this is the reason why.
Absolutely. Tiva, anything on your heart before we get out of here?
I'll just agree with everybody what they said thus far. You know, it is what it is. Education, educate yourself as much as you can, and prepare and save.
Exactly. Sharon, your prayers out.
Father God in heaven, I come to say thank you. Thank you for this broadcast today, Father God, and always watching over us. God, I ask that you continue to take and guide us, be with us for the remainder of this week, Father God, and let no harm or foul come along our way. Continue, God, to give us the strength, Father God, and the knowledge to make life better for not only ourselves, but those that are around us. Thank you for all you've done, and thank you for all you're going to do. Amen.
Amen. And not just this week now, Father. No, we don't mean stop after this week now. Yeah, I'm just being silly. Listen, man, this has been a great broadcast, and my thing is, man, if you get an opportunity, even if you don't have kids or you have kids and you know somebody else in a household where they're not able to teach their kids or they don't have the equipment, they're not equipped to teach their kids about finances, take an opportunity to take some time and work with those kids as well. It shouldn't be a situation where it's just my four and no more. Well, reach out, go outside of your four walls and help somebody else. These children need the same equipment, need to be equipped as well as your children as well. Yeah, we can't be selfish in this thing, man. We as a community, we have to come together and teach each other and help each other to make sure that we can all move forward. Because, like I said earlier today, it's easier instead of playing tug of war with your neighbor. It's easier if both of y'all get on the same side of the rope and y'all pull together. Y'all can pull a lot stronger together than y'all can pulling against each other. So if you know somebody, and I don't know how she even said this, but I'm gonna, if fellas, if you're gonna go in there, you're gonna help a young lady, a single mom, and she have kids. Go in there with the intent of helping the children. Don't go in there trying to get with the mom and do all the others. Take that out your mind. Do what's right. Do what's right. Anybody got anything before we get out of here?
No.
Mentorship is big. You know, it would help for some that have achieved that level of success to come back across the other side of the tracks and expose themselves to the young men that are looking up to the dope boys.
Exactly.
The ones that are looking up to the ones that are fixing up the old school cars and putting the big rims on them because they think the cars that are out of reach from them are out of reach, for an example. So, you know, if you come back and let those young children know, okay, hey, this is accessible to you also. Might have to dress a little different. I might look a little different than you. I might wear a shirt buttoned up to the top collar. But understand that this level of success is really what you want.
Exactly. You might have one of that old choker. The old choker boy, you can't have weed half the time. The choker be choking you so hard. But listen, y'all have a great day, man. This has been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and associates and Only One Truth for being a part of your day. It is now 7:04. You're about to exit Only One Truth. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. We shine some of this light for Only One Truth. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world
Bye, y'all.
and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? You all have a great day. Take care of each other, and please be blessed.